Hi, good evening. So today I'm going to talk about Poinsettia. Poinsettia is a wonderful plant. Usually we buy it from the nurseries in winters because it is considered a festival plant. It is also known as a Mexican Christmas plant and as Christmas star. So friends, this is Kumud here from Kumudini's Home Gardens, and just want to share the care for these poinsettia plants in this peak summers. This period is little hard for these plants, as you know that they start becoming green. They just produce green leaves, and their colorful petals, these leaves, this is foliage only, this is not even flower, these are foliage. So their colorful foliage start fading into green, and more they just turn into green plants rather than colorful plants. In winters their beauty is awesome, but in summers it is difficult to even make them survive in this heat, as the temperatures are about 45 degrees these days. One really has to be very careful to make them survive. So these are my poinsettias plants, friends. This is the red one. As you can see, this is still producing some red leaves. This one is white, gorgeous white leaves it is still producing, and this one is pink, of course. So we'll talk about the care straight away. In summers, one has to keep them in shade, number one, because it doesn't like sunlight too much. Even in winters, this requires more of night time than daytime. And in winters, one can keep it in straight sunlight, but during summers, it has to go completely in tree shade or some green net shade. But it's better if we keep this plant on the wet ground, on the wet surface. Like under the tree, the surface remains moist only, so it keeps getting its moisture from the tree's roots and other wet surfaces. Grass is there, one can keep it on the grass also. So this is one. Then the second point is, friends, that its soil has to be always moist but not muddy. It doesn't like muddy soil, it doesn't like too much water, it doesn't like to sit in lots of water because it tends to get rot otherwise. So very less water but always moist. Third thing is, friends, that it has to be given some kind of fertilizer, but not harsh fertilizer. By harsh I mean that you don't have to treat chemical fertilizers with it. You don't have to put that in that. You can use your home compost in liquid form. Otherwise also you can put it, because it will not harm this plant. Or your kitchen waste water, which I've been telling in my other videos also. So you can put that also. So it needs light fertilizing all the time. So this is another thing. The fourth thing is that these leaves have to be washed time and again. So spraying is good for this plant, and sometimes you can take out these plants from under the shades of trees and give them good bathing, like I have just done, not shown you exactly, but I have just done good spraying to these plants. So that keeps the foliage clean and photosynthesis keeps happening, because of the clean leaves. So that is a must with all the plants. So sometimes you can give full water also to this, friends. Like just now I have given, there is no harm in giving full water as long as the water drains out completely from the drainage holes. Because as I told you that it doesn't like to sit in the water, and as the heat is increasing, so try to avoid hot water, like in tankies and all, in pipes the water has become quite warm, so avoid that kind of water. So you just put little cooler water when it is after 6 o'clock. If you water these plants, then the temperatures have gone down already by that time, and that water will not harm.